Hello, class. This course, as we are all familiar with, is titled Phonological Analysis. Now, phonological analysis can be done in different forms. It has to do with giving account of the way pronunciations are realized in different phonetic environments. What we have learned at the initial stage of our study of English under Introduction to Phonetics and Phonology will serve as good link between the past and what we are discussing in this class. As scholars of English, we should be the custodian of English pronunciation. Lots of things happen when people speak English in the second language learners environment. One of those problems we have is that our spoken English are guided most often by the letters that are present in the written form. This ought not so to be. Another thing is that our knowledge of the grammar of the language sometimes are used as cues to determine how we pronounce certain things. It shouldn't be so. The fact remains that there is a clear distinction between the spoken expression and the written expression. If in grammar, the rule of tense marker is applied in certain environment, it is not compulsory that when you speak, tense must consistently be realized. It all depends on the phonological environment of the sounds that are concatenated, the sounds that are combined in different spoken expression. That is why this course, phonological analysis, is very vital to our understanding of good pronunciation in English. Look at the diagram before you. We want to study this from a particular level to another level so that you will have some clear understanding of what we are talking about when we say we are analyzing speech sounds in phonetic form. Take a look at these two heads, this one and this one here. It is assumed that inside the memory of the speaker, there are present sounds, a jumble of sounds, multitude of sounds that are inside the memory. It is what you have in your memory, you select for concatenation, for construction of spoken expression. You have all the vowels present in your memory, you have all the consonants present in your memory, and when you speak, for instance, take these two heads representing interlocutors. When this one pick certain sounds here, as a result of which a particular expression is constructed. When he speaks what he has constructed in his memory, the interlocutor, the person listening to him, is likely to have the ability to interpret, to understand, to comprehend him if he is familiar with some of the principles that account for how sounds occur when they are finally spoken. Look at this expression here. Underlying representation. Underlying representation. You look at the expression, look at the spelling. I'm not saying underline. Underline, that is representation at the background. Underlying representation. While this one is surface representation. Underlying representation and surface representation. Look at this arrow here. This arrow indicates that, all right, what exists inside the mind when it is concatenated in the mind By the time it passes through the articulatory process to be uttered by the lips, it goes through a rule. That's why you have what we call P rule here. It is referred to as phonological rules. Phonological rules. So the number of sounds and the types of sounds that you are likely to combine in the production of a particular expression, they are the one you have in your mind. Now, by the time you combine them and they have to pass through articulative processes, it is likely that your articulators may have may find it necessary to modify some of the sounds as a result of the conflict, or if you like, competition among sounds. And that may end up producing something a little bit different from what you initially have concatenated in your mind. Something else may be produced. This expression is an example. I can deal with you. That is what you have in your mind. I can deal with you. If you attempt to produce this in a rapid speech, definitely your production at the articulatory level will cause certain change to occur. How? You will find yourself pronouncing, I can deal with you. This dental fricative sound, which is voiceless here, will definitely turn to a voice sound by the time you finally utter it from your mouth. I can deal with you is what you have in your mind. But by the time you finally speak out, you have I can deal with you, with you. Why? What made you to change from the voiceless sound to a voiced sound? These are some of the things we want to account for in phonological analysis, analyzing or giving account for what occurs, what happens to sound in speech production, in rapid speech production. What happens to sound? What causes certain sounds to change? You and I are familiar with the fact that, all right, when a verb that is inflected with ed has a voiceless sound at the final position of the root word. Take, for instance, park. Park ends in park, in car, which is a voiceless sound. And if you add your da to it, your da will change to ta. What happens? Because you have park plus ed inside your mind are the underlying representation. So what is in the mind is what we refer to as underlying representation. So you have ed, no, added to park inside the mind. But by the time you finally bring it out, the occurrence of ed after a voiceless sound car will force that sound to be realized as voiceless. Those are some of the things we want to account for in phonological analysis. Somebody must have told us during our introduction to phonology that, okay, you have this occurring. But what are the reasons? What make it to happen so? Why must it happen so? And in what other environment can you find sounds altering their nature and taking up another feature that belongs to other sounds around it? Those are some of the things we want to consider in this course, phonological analysis. Let me give you an example that is different from here. Look at the word. I can beat you. I can beat you. I can beat you. Can you pronounce it? Try pronouncing it. I can beat you. I can beat you. What can you notice there? You observe that I can beat you has compelled the noun that occurs at the final position of can to occur, to come closer to bar, which is the first word in the first sound in the word beat. As a result of that adjacent relationship, your noun will take up the labial feature in the verb. As a result of which noun will no longer occur as noun, it will occur as noun. And so what you have there is I can beat you. I can beat you. Not I can beat you. I can beat you. Naturally, without any effort, you have automatically altered the noun, you have modified the noun to be realized as Those are the things that we are going to account for in this phonological analysis. There are several other concepts, other things, other situations that affect the sounds getting modified. Some of them disappear. Some situations you have some sounds being inserted between two adjacent sounds as a result of the processes of articulatory organs. We are going to account for that and many other things in this course. So please address your mind to the fact that inside the mind, you have your phonemes. At the point of production, your phonemes pass through the P rule, phonological rule, before they are finally produced. We are all familiar with the Ferdinand de Saussure's theory of Lang and Parrot. Lang and Parrot. Lang is the language in the mind. Parrot is the performance in the production of the language. That is the basis of the principles which was later developed by Chomsky for the realization of generative phonology, which we are discussing in this course. For us to have a good grasp of this, there are many things that we are going to learn together. I believe you will find it interesting as we proceed in this course. Note this, that language in the mind sometimes may assume some modification at the point of production. That is the central focus of this course. Go ahead, browse, and learn some things about phonological rule. You'll find it on the net to guide yourself as we continue in this course. Do not think that everything you need to know in this course will be provided to you. I will guide you by the grace of God, and I will teach you as much as it lies within my strength and ability. I also give you some papers, some course handouts. You know me, I don't say handout. I'll give them to you free of charge. You produce them for yourself, read them, but bear in the mind that this is a more advanced level of phonetic study. We shall meet in the class by the grace of God on Saturday. Thank you for listening to this. Make sure you listen to it. Make sure you continue to listen to this as often as you have time. And by the grace of God, I will continue to produce more of short videos like this to enforce our class discussion. Thank you for listening.